McGill. WALTERCHICK, capital Gill. That's pastor, not reverend.
Okay, thank you, Pastor. And for those that don't know, what's going on? Why are you doing this?
Well, God commissioned me to walk coast to coast to promote a new birth of freedom and integrity in America. I'm calling attention to the 10 Commandments, the Golden Rule, and our nation's founding documents.
Now, where did your journey start?
Kill Devil Hills, North Carolina is where we began. It was on my 19th wedding anniversary. We started with a kiss and a prayer.
And then you're like, let's take off. Let's get going.
Yeah, this is a national prayer walk, you see. I'm praying for every community that I walk through as I pray for the nation on a daily basis.
Now, the destination is Santa Monica, correct?
Santa Monica Pier in Santa Monica, California.
Is there significance to that location? Is there anywhere you can walk to?
You know, it's probably a place that I would be the least received.
Okay.
And so it would be a good place to attempt to be received.
Okay.
I started out in the Bible Belt. You know, people were tooting, stopping, shaking my hand, hugging me. You know, I started out with a lot of warm fuzzies. I expect to finish this thing with a little ice water.
Okay, that makes sense. Now, from here to Santa Monica, 800 miles, a little over 800.
Yeah.
How do you make each mile seem shorter than the last one? How do you keep persevering and get through?
Well, you know, I have strong faith in God. God was the one that commissioned me for this walk. Mentally and spiritually, I'm sound. Nothing ever gets me down except my legs and my feet, they betray me. You know, I'm 68 years old. And a lot of people said, this is crazy for an old man to be walking coast to coast. And I just tell people, if you think I'm crazy, pray for me. That's what I would do for you.
Yeah, it's true.
And so, you know, really, it's one step at a time. When I look down that long highway, and I look as far as I can see, sometimes I can see 2 or 3 miles, sometimes I can see 10 miles. And I ask myself, how can I do this? And the voice from God comes to me, one step at a time. This is the way people have to overcome all their problems, one step at a time.
I actually have a tattoo on my chest, and it's an acronym, and it's 4 letters, ODAT, and it's one day at a time.
One day at a time.
But that's the way that I've lived my life for a while now, so I totally understand.
You know, we can't look back. Just keep looking forward. And people say, well, what about the weather? And I say, well, I think that's in the domain of God. You know, God's in control of the weather. He's commissioned me to do this. Why should I worry about the weather?
Talk about the weather. What have you been through?
Well, I've been through a real feel of about 0. I've been through blizzard, been through frozen fog. You know, starting in western Oklahoma, the kiss has not been sweet, I tell you. I've had a few dogs attack me. I had a pit bull chase me out of Oklahoma into Texas. You know, it's an interesting journey. I've met hundreds of lovely people, and I could count on one hand the negative experiences I've had in 164 days of walking.
Do you have a timetable, more or less, of when you expect to arrive in California, or is it just kind of as your feet take you?
I would like to finish before a year. You know, we started April 23rd, which was my wedding anniversary. It'd be nice to finish in less than a year, but it's not a race. It's all about meeting people, networking with communities, churches, civic organizations. I stop at every city hall and leave a memento of the walk. It's a 40-day prayer guide for our nation. And I want everybody to know that I'm praying for this nation. I'm praying for each community. I'll be walking an extra 15 miles in Albuquerque because my wife was born here. And so I'm going to walk around town and pray a little bit more for Albuquerque than some of the other towns that I walked through.
I see, okay. So a little bit more to the heart here. I understand.
Yeah, we're going to go by and walk by the house where she was born and raised for about 5 years.
Okay. Now, whenever your day's wrapping up, what's your normal wind down process? How does it work? Do you just kind of find a place to stay for the night? Do you go to a local church? What's that routine?
Well, you know, we were blessed with an old motorhome.
Okay.
So we have a host church here in Albuquerque who's let us park in their parking lot and plug into their power. And so we do that like a week or two at a time. We have the pace car that you've seen. And my wife deposits me at my walk stations each day, keeps me supported, and picks me up at the end of the walk. I'm getting close to the end of the walk. Wyoming Boulevard is the end of the walk today.
Okay.
And so after about 11 to 15 miles, I call it quits. We try to find a buffet or someplace where I can really chow down. And, the buffets are really kind. Places like Furs, Golden Corral, and so forth, they often compass some meals and stuff.
Okay.
It's just, there's a real good taste. When you're doing something good like this, people like to hear about it. It's good news, it's something positive, and so everybody gets a smile.
Absolutely. I agree. Now, I noticed that whenever you see oncoming traffic, you give them a salute.
Oh, yeah.
Can you talk about
what
that symbolizes for you, why you do it?
God told me to carry this flag as a symbol of we the people. It's a symbol of honor and respect. And I started carrying it, and then he said, wait a minute, you're not being respectful enough. You got to show more respect. You got to salute your fellow Americans. And there's two sides to this coin. In the military, a subordinate salutes a superior. The Bible teaches us to esteem others greater than ourselves. So what I'm doing is I'm setting an example of respect and honor from myself to others, hoping that they will pick that up and pass it along.
I see. Kind of, you're hoping to start a spark and then they carry it on.
Get a little fire going, We need self-respect, we need family respect, we need community respect. Even if we don't like somebody's ideologies, we can still respect them, can't we?
Trying to rack my brain. I'm going to walk away and there's something I'm going to think of. Like, oh man, I wish I would have asked him.
Have I worn out any shoes?
That's a good one. Have you worn out any shoes?
I haven't worn out one pair of shoes.
No?
In 2,300 miles, I have worn out several insoles. But you know what? I have found out that you can buy cheap shoes and expensive insoles and get by just as well as if you buy $150 or $200 shoes.
Makes sense. Just invest in the cushioning. How has it been so far for you? What kind of... you say most of you can only count the bad experiences on one hand, but are there long stretches of time where you don't see anybody, or maybe one here or there?
Well, as I get farther west, the interest in what I'm doing seems to wane a little. Maybe not as many people are into the Bible, or maybe the culture's a little different. It's hard to say. When I went through Texas Panhandle, a lot of cowboys, Well, cowboys are kind of independent people. They'll toot, they'll salute, but they don't have time to stop and talk. It's always the women. Here in Albuquerque, I already had a couple people stop. Good, ladies who have time. One of them wanted to give me money. I said, you don't have to give me money. I'm just going to give you a card, then you're going to know what I'm doing.
Makes sense.
I'm not soliciting money.
You're like, no, that's not what I'm here to do. I just want to bring
I just want to raise awareness to those founding principles that made America the greatest nation in history.
Is there anything that you'd like to add that I have not asked you?
Well, I really like Albuquerque. I'm not big on desert, I'm not big on desolation, but and plains. But we like mountains. We like a little snow here and there. Albuquerque's we're trying to actually find a place to move to, and Albuquerque sort of clicks a little bit. And of course, my wife was born here. It's like going back home again.
Yeah. It's a very unique place, that's for sure. There's 4 distinct seasons here.
Okay.
You get a taste of everything. and it can change like that. I mean, we have clouds right now, but by this evening, I bet you the sun will be out again and everything will roll away.
If you don't like it, just wait a while.
Yeah, exactly. That's what they say. Especially if it's raining. If you don't like the rain, wait 15 minutes, it'll be gone.
Right. Well, I would also say that at my age, 68 years old, this walk would not have been my idea. And I'm doing this for God and country. I hope to make a national impact. I hope to get a lot of people inspired to get out of their comfort zones. On the pace car it says, if you're going to talk the talk, walk the walk. I would like to encourage Christians to get out of their comfort zones and do the work that they've been commissioned to do. If you're not a Christian, whatever your talk is, walk it and show us a good way to live. We can all get along, no matter what your religion is, even if you're an atheist. We'll find a way through the golden rule to get along.
Quick question just came up while you were thinking that. While you're making your travel, is there someone that's taking care of your pastor duties at home? Or did you just kind of walk away from everything and say...
Well, you know, on my card, I have a California address, and people often think I'm from California. I'm from Tennessee. Please, they don't hold that against me. But yeah, I'm a Tennessee redneck fellow. But, we have a secretary in California. That's why I put that address on there.
Okay.
I have work in different parts of the world and different parts of this country. And so we chose California as my office for this event.
Okay. I think I'm good, unless you have anything else you want to add.
Well, you have much more than you're going to put on the air, so.
Oh, yeah.